Hey guys, welcome back to Tiga Haitana. My name is Abby, and today we're going to be doing the sacral sexual healing tarot pull for the week of September 3rd to September 10th. And we have a lot of cool stuff happening this week, which is pretty interesting. Astrologically speaking, Venus just yesterday went into his pre-shadow phase, because it's going to be in retrograde in October, and Saturn this week on the 6th, which is Thursday, goes direct, but it won't be out of the post shadow phase till December, but that's fine, at least it's going direct. So it's gonna be a really good time to, I want to say, wrap up a couple things, but then refocus in other areas, because Venus going into retrograde, especially in his pre-shadow phase, you're going to start getting hints and bits at stuff that's going to be a focus and stuff that's going to be kind of coming up during October. So you'll get the hints that of things that are going to come up. And then with this Virgo sun, we must then analyze those things. If you start doing the work early, you can kind of get a head start, and it won't hurt as much when Venus goes in retrograde in Scorpio, which is going to be very deep, to say the least about that one. It's gonna be something. The moon right now is currently in Gemini, so great time to work with Mercury. Just work with Mercury, analyze things, do all the things. Good time to do healing work, and good time to prep some spells and really get yourself sorted mentally. Then it's going to be moving into Cancer, and we're ending the week with the moon in Leo, which is probably going to be my favorite. As you guys know, I'm a Leo rising, so I love anything Leo. So messages for the week of September 3rd to the 10th. Where's Sacral healing? So we're definitely going to talk about last week a little bit. Okay, that's interesting. We're going to talk about last week a little bit, because I did say in last week's video that, I mean, first of all, last week was very emotional for me. When the moon was in Aries, it was squaring a lot of things in my chart. The moon was squaring my Saturn, my Pluto, my Mars, my Mercury. It was just squaring my life away. So I had a very emotional Aries moon. However, I did say in that video that that moon was going to really ask you to kind of push you into a direction. It's really going to make you be in a position where you'll have to kind of do something about whatever situation you're in, and really make a decision, and really make and act on it. Like just pick any direction, so we can clear up, and we can clear up the emotional kind of mess, if there was one. And so that's exactly what ended up happening for me. I was very emotional, I was very frustrated, and then I had to do something about it, so I did. But the thing about, I'll explain it this way, because I've said this like all my life. Being a cardinal sign it's awesome, but at the same time, it could be frustrating when you want someone else to do something versus you having to do it all the time. I say this because literally, and if you ask my sister, I complain about this all the time. I'll always say, like, you know, I really wish that I didn't have to initiate it, like, all the time. Like, why does it always have to be me? Why do I always have to be the one to say the first things, do the first, like, why does it have to be me? And it's really frustrating, because I feel like, I'm like, why can't someone just like just do act on what they feel like? But that's that carnal thing about me, that I'm just like, I know that if I feel something, I'm like, okay, if you present me a problem, I have to address it and I have to fix it. But a lot of people are not like that. A lot of people dwell on, and again, it goes with your placements. A lot of people like to just dwell in it, and some people can dwell on stuff for years. I can't do that. I have to do something about it, or I'll go, literally, I'll be just so emotionally frustrated. Like, I won't be able to put my cardinal fire into anything. So that moon was really, it was something. It was definitely something. So for me, that's the way like last week was going on for me. I was just really frustrated, and it was almost like that Aries moon was a boiling point, which kind of goes to show how this moon kind of season for me is gonna go. I feel like it's gonna clear up a lot of stuff, but for the most part, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, I hope that you guys had a good week last week. For the most part, I did too. It's just that I got really emotional in the middle of the week. It was crazy. So for this week though, we have the Tower in reverse, the Page of Wands, I'm not surprised, the Devil, and the Four of Cups, I'm not surprised, especially because this is Capricorn energy and I just said that Saturn is going direct. Then we have the Three of Pentacles and the Lovers, I'm also not surprised. Then I have the Knight of Pentacles and the Ace of Swords. Then the Star and the Nine of Pentacles. So let's just talk about these real quick. I feel like this week is actually going to be a good week to kind of start fresh. It's like a breath of fresh air. And it's like that ignition. There's a lot of really good love vibes this week. There's also a lot of good, and you're like, oh, but wait, but isn't Venus going in its yeah, it's going on retrograde, but there's definitely going to be love vibes for sure. Don't get that twisted. I was born under Venus in Aquarius in retrograde, so I work really good with Venus retrograde energy itself anyway, so it's not a huge problem for me. It's just that when Venus is in retrograde, what you need to understand about it is that it can mean quite a few things. It could mean that you're going to be reassessing a past love situation, a past money situation, a past relationship. It can mean that you're going to be working with past life relationship work as far as healing, or like maybe you'll meet someone or you'll be attracted to someone who you had a relationship with or whatnot in past life. It could mean that you can then heal areas of the past or any traumatic love or money situation that needed to get sorted, but it kind of got brushed off because it just kept going forward, moving forward, whatever. Now it's like, okay, in Scorpio, it's really going to dig up everything, like every lie, every kind of negative thought, like any traumatic, everything's coming to light in October. And this is just like the pre to it. So right now, we're really gonna be reassessing some things. We are. However, when it comes to this Tower reverse and the Page of Wands, this week we start off not really being surprised about what happens. I think that if you kind of, the way you addressed your energy last week, as far as how you used this cardinal energy to manifest or whatever it was that you were doing, this week you're not going to be surprised by the outcome. You're not going to be surprised how that fire ended up transforming and transmuting. There's not going to be a shock factor. The week's gonna start off with like, yeah, I knew something would come from my actions that I did last week. I knew that this was gonna be in my face, I knew. It's like if this was, I don't think it's a blockage at all, but if this was a blockage, you knew where it came from, you knew how it needs to get, like, you're very aware. It's an awareness, and it's good that we're starting the week off like this, because Sun is a Virgo, Moon is in Gemini. So awareness, having this mental awareness is important, because now we just understand, and we're like processing it that way. We're like, okay, always thinking, always looking at the possibilities, always those things, very important. Then we have the Devil and the Four of Cups. This is gonna be a fun week. So this type of energy, I mean, this is Capricorn energy as well, but this type of energy really kind of puts you in a situation where, because Capricorns can be stubborn. I mean, the Devil always shows a darker aspect of things that we've been holding on to, something definitely on the shadow side of what it has been that we've been healing, what it has been that we needed to act upon that we haven't been. And so this is gonna bring a fresher energy into how stubborn we have been before. It's like, okay, you know what, I did something about it last week, and now I get to see what the outcome of my actions are. That's what this is. Because ultimately, you always have to remember, Capricorn's a cardinal sign, so it's gonna make moves regardless. It can be stubborn, it could have a lot of depth, it can really get stuck in a place where it's like, I will say this, sometimes you could bury your own problems, you could bury your own healing, you could bury your own, Capricorns are really good at staying with what's comfortable, and that's because they also get the power of Taurus and Virgo. They can be perfectionists, and they can do that Taurus thing where it's just like, I want to do the same thing that makes me feel good all the time, and so they can stay in that place, but sometimes those things can be toxic. So we have an opportunity this week of kind of wrapping up that energy quite nicely, and getting like a breath of fresher energy into a situation that we've been kind of working towards and working to and trying to resolve, in whatever way that is. And this could either be about a job situation, this could be a third-party situation, this could also be about a love situation. We have the Three of Pentacles and the Lovers here, and Three of Pentacles and the Lovers, because if you look at it in the regular Rider's-Waite deck, there's three figures in the card, and this one also has 3 figures in the card, so there's a lot of three energy, and this kind of really goes into putting have we been putting work in specifically. I mean, this goes back to Capricorn energy, because experts at kind of planting seeds and working towards it, climbing the mountain. Like, how did you start off last week in putting the work into something that not only do you know you're going to get a result about and you're going to get a reaction for, but it might just have to do with a love relationship, it might just have to do with a work situation, but how are we addressing it in a fresh way? How are we not pretty much surprised how it's gonna come up? Because again, the Tower in reverse and the Page of Wands, it's like, we knew that if we changed our shift, if we shifted a little bit, the reaction was going to be different. There was going to be a different outcome. It's like if you're playing a video game and you know if you hit the same, like one of those like question video games where you like get different options and you know where it's going to go. It's like if you kept hitting the same one but you didn't try the other options. Now you try the other options and you know you're getting a different result. You get to see a different side of that game. And that's kind of what's going on this week, which is nice because it opens things up to working on something a little bit more creatively, being a little bit more vulnerable, seeing things from a different perspective. It's like getting a second chance at a situation that kind of didn't go right the first time. That's what it is. And so this week is really focusing on, hey, okay, you know what? You try something different. I'm going to, like, the universe is like, I'm going to reward you for not doing the same thing over and over again, because we all know that equals insanity. The next two cards are the Knight of Pentacles and the Ace of Swords. This is complete Virgo energy to me. So those are all a conversation that could happen, could have to do with money, or it could just be, again, Virgo energy. Watch your Virgo placements this week. See what's kind of coming up for you, even though the moon is not going to necessarily be in Virgo, but see where the sun is falling for you this week. Look at your transits, see what's happening, because there might be some light and some new kind of fresher energy coming in these areas. The Ace of Swords, always, to me, it's always about communication. It's always about clarity. It's always about fresh energy, creativity. It could be many things. It could be like you get to have a conversation and you get to clear something up, again, from what we've been talking about. You get a second chance at something, so you get to readdress it in a fresher way as well. And the Knight of Pentacles is not like a page. He's still pretty much grounded, and he still has that, like, you know, there's still that grounding Capricorn energy, that Virgo energy, that, like, but Virgo's a mutable sign. Always remember this. It needs to be addressed by thought. It needs to be changed by thought, because that's Mercury right there. And so when we're addressing this energy this week, we really need to see and acknowledge how this fresh energy is leading us up into a new something. Because this whole time we've been, like, blocked. Our sacral space, our will, our manifestations have been blocked because of our lack of really control. I want to use the word control in the situation, but it's more having to do with the way we were going about controlling the situation, or thinking that we could control the situation, or we were kind of a hot mess a couple months ago. I'm just gonna be honest with you guys. This is how I feel. I feel like the reasons why we were so blocked had to do a lot with ego, and we had to do a lot of healing in those spaces, because our ego can be very toxic, or we could keep it healthy. And this is why Leo season was necessary, in order to shift that perspective and let you be in the light versus, but see, what Leo season did with shining a light on all of our darker aspects, because you can say Scorpio season does the same thing, but Leo season literally puts the sun out, and literally the whole entire season, all of the cards was just like, yep, so this is the problem, this is what you're doing, this is doing it, you've been doing this, and that's literally what was coming up the whole entire Leo season, because the sun was just like, hey, I'm just gonna shine a light on you, and you're gonna get to see yourself. And so because we saw ourselves, now we go into Virgo season saying, okay, now that we saw ourselves, now let's think about it. Let's do something about it. How are we going to act from this? And the transits and the placements are just like, because September is like a huge time for all the planets, most of the planets, to kind of come out of their retrograde season. And so now we're like, okay, that happened. We did the thing. And now we need to move forward with what we learned. We're not going to block our space again. And it's super important for us to keep that energy going. The last two cards are the Star and the Nine of Pentacles. This is, well, Aquarius. But this is interesting to me because the Nine of Pentacles, if you ask me when I'm reading tarot, this is usually, it always represents the Virgo card to me. Not the Virgo card, but Virgos themselves, because the Nine of Pentacles is just like how I feel that Virgos want to live their lives, which is just like, I have all my ducks in a row, my house is in the back, and I'm just like chilling with the birds, enjoying nature, like all this, like, just perfection. Like the card is just literal, it's like a painting. So the Star in this, it's saying that we are getting to a place where we're in that space, where we're feeling good, where our egos are good, where we have our ducks in a row, where everything is in order, in the order that Virgo likes to have things. And we're getting to that place. The star is saying, listen, every action you're doing, everything that you're doing, all the movements that you've been doing are getting you to this place. You just need to keep going. You need to keep making these kind of bold moves that lead you into a new, fresher energy, that lead you into a new, fresher space. You can't not just stay stuck dwelling. I can't dwell. I can't. It literally drives me crazy. I cannot dwell. If something's bothering me that much, I have to do something about it. That's just how I am as a person. Like, I cannot dwell. I cannot dwell. Yes, I have a Gemini moon, mutable. Yes, technically, mentally, I can dwell. But my cardinal, my ego, my sun, is just like, okay, cool, so what are we doing about it? And then my mind will go into, okay, stop thinking about the problem. What are we doing about it now? So it's really important to address your mind, address these things this week. It seems like it's going to be a great week, so we should be Gucci. It's just that we're going to be expecting some interesting outcomes, I think, or interesting reactions to how we've been moving as of late. I know what mine is, and I'm kind of really like, I'm excited, but at the same time, I'm just like, yeah. Okay, so let's do, I always forget to say the name until like the middle of the reading, but I'm using the Manara deck for the shadower side of the reading, and then I'm using the Tarot Sexual Magic for the lighter side of the reading, and then also the Zodiac Oracle, just to clear out some extra energies. I will say I have been talking about Capricorn for a long time in these readings, so Saturn turning direct this week is super important. Definitely look at how that transit is affecting you, and really look at the lesson of what you learned from when he went into retrograde to now that he's coming out of it. Look at this week as like, okay, he wasn't trying to kill me. Like, what was the karma? What was the karmic debt that you had to pay? Like, use this Virgo analytical energy to really think about yourself and just break that down. See why it was important for him to give you a chance to look at yourself, give you a chance to clean out your cobwebs, and why you needed to go through it. Like, a lot of people just love to love like the funner planets, like Venus, or Mars, or whatever, or Jupiter. But Saturn is like it's one of the most hated planets ever. But he is so needed, and nobody ever admits that. It's so sad, except for me, because I love Saturn. And it's just really important to kind of look back and see what lessons we kind of had to go through, why this retrograde season was so important for our growth, for us to make the changes that we needed to make, for us to be here right now. What did you change about yourself in your healing? Like, answer all of these questions. And the reason why I'm saying answer them is because, again, Virgo sun right now, Gemini moon. So mine needs to be active. Mine needs to be like, okay, you need to have like that breakdown with yourself where you realize why you needed to be where you were at the time, why it was necessary, why you needed to learn what you learned, why it continues to be a journey, why I needed to go the way I needed to go. So really look at that this week and focus on moving forward now, because again, this week is gonna be pretty good, but it has to do with, okay, oh, I forgot to say the bottom of the deck, but it has to do with really kind of addressing yourself and sitting with yourself and understanding yourself is really important. The bottom of the deck for the Manara deck, I forgot to say it, was the 8 of Cups and the 9 of Wands, which I'm not surprised about. It's been an energy for a while. The bottom of the deck right now for the Tarot of Sexual Magic is the Four of Wands and the Star, which I'm also not surprised about because we just talked about the Star. The first two cards are the Ten of Swords and the Ace of Pentacles. So for those that this has to do with money, really coming to a conclusion and the end of beating ourselves up mentally about this and having to readdress it in a different way. The next two cards are the Page of Pentacles and the Six of Cups. And then really putting in our focus and rewiring our focus elsewhere. And this is needed because when you have so much stuff, we've been clearing out so much energy in the space, it really blocks our blessings. When your sacral space is blocked, and I've said this before, you are really blocking your ability to manifest anything, because you're just using that energy to stay frustrated instead of staying in balance. And when Venus goes into retrograde, right now Venus is in Libra, you'll be able to see what I'm talking about a little bit better. That lesson will come if you haven't felt it already. But it was necessary. It's necessary to keep yourself in balance, especially in that space. Our sacral space, our sexual space. A lot of people demonize our sexual space. A lot of people love to demean it and make it into like this thing that we're not supposed to touch unless we're married, or this thing that we're not supposed to use, we're not supposed to like expand on it, we're not supposed to like, it's like a don't talk about it type of thing. Like, and if you're talking about it, then you're either super hypersexual and you're just like all over the place and people think you're a slut or whatever. Like, it's ridiculous. Like when it's in a physical form, when it's in an energetic form, you can get blocked from all these type of traumas because there's so many different types of sexual traumas that you can have. There's mental ones, there's physical ones. There's especially if you're an empath and you're picking up energy from other people, you can literally block your sacral space just from picking it up from somebody else. It's not even your trauma and you're taking it in. Like, it's kind of ridiculous how we can have so much gunk in that area, and you really need to address it and sort it, because then your whole life is just like in a shambles. Like, it just makes no sense. So just the value of keeping not only our minds, but how our minds manifest and take away blessings that we could have. The next two cards are the Seven of Cups and the Eight of Wands. I'm also not surprised about this. There's going to be a lot of manifestation and a lot of fruition, because the next card is the Moon. We're going to be seeing a lot of, this week specifically, we're going to see a lot of stuff come up from stuff that we've been trying to manifest for a minute. Intentions that we set earlier. We're going to see a lot of that movement happening this week, which is really cool. And it'll just be really in our faces how we kind of manifested certain things, and I think that energy is going to be beautiful. The only thing I will say, because the last three cards are the Three of Swords, the Ten of Wands, and the Queen of Swords, is to mind your mind. I'm going to repeat that. Mind your minds. I'm saying this because manifestation and everything is all fine and dandy. All fine and dandy when you're not kind of thinking negatively and doubting it and putting negative intentions on top of your positive intentions, and really kind of blocking yourself in that area, like doubting yourself, doubting your power, doubting your ability to heal yourself, doubting your ability to be happy, doubting your ability to get the promotion you want or the job that you want, doubting your ability to get the love that you want. Whatever it is, the doubt is going to be a problem this week. Don't fall for it. That is my biggest tip. Don't fall for it this week. Don't do that thing, because then you're going to be struggling. The Ten of Wands is really going to be like your thoughts, your ability to kind of stick three swords into your own heart is going to keep blocking you. That's one. And you're going to keep struggling to be clear with yourself, because the Queen of Swords is that Virgo energy. It's that clarity. It's that I think clearly and I can manifest at will. Like, that's that magician energy. Don't block yourself this week. This already was the lesson that we've been doing it like for a hot minute. Don't do it this week. Really understand why we had to go through this, why we're shedding that energy, and now being in a better place where we can be open and we can think, okay, I want to picture a better something. I want something better. I want to feel good. I don't want to feel bad. I just, this is how I want. This is my will. This is what I want to do. This is how I want to see it. This is whatever it is that you want to feel. Work from that. Don't stay stuck on the negativity of it, because the society values negativity already enough. It values fear more than anything. It's one of the most annoying things about society and the system, valuing fear and instilling fear in people. And that usually is what blocks your own power, because when you are taught to fear everything, then you fear everything. And you literally fear everything. You're not able to move. You're not able to, you just doubt, and then you literally just get depressed. You continue to get to the lowest of the low, because your mind is just doubting any good that can come to you. And that is the most ridiculous thing that you can do to yourself. It just is. It just is. It's the most ridiculous thing that you can do to yourself. So, let's talk about these cards. So for the Zodiac Oracle energies for the week we got was Aries. That's the first card that jumped out. Now, if you remember from last week's video, I did say that the Aries energy was going to carry on till the end of the week. So you might be feeling that. That's probably why the fire came up early. Again, actions that you take and how you chose to act on your path and rechange your direction is really going to show fruit. The next card is Venus. And don't forget that Venus is in its pre-shadow phase, but don't get scared about it either. This is going to be a good time. To address a lot of things and to heal a lot of things and to really put yourself in a good place later, because it could also mean that you're readdressing opportunities that you missed before, and then you have a chance to get that back, because Venus also rules money. So don't get stuck on that and the mentality of it. Don't dull your fire though. Definitely work with the energy of right now. Especially if that's something that you did last week. But you're going to be seeing the fruit of the moves that you made kind of develop throughout the week. The next two cards is Aquarius and Earth. I'm not surprised that Aquarius came up, because it kept coming up throughout the reading. Aquarius energy. Really talking about the things that you do that kind of leak into this giant pool of your bigger purpose. So the smaller aspects and the steps that you take and where that leads you and how that's leading you to your bigger purpose, how that's pulling you to your own collective of expansion, and how that all ties together. It's an intertwining of it. Aquarius also rules astrology, so make sure you're paying attention to your transits. If you are feeling, because if that is the Queen of Swords energy, if you are feeling a lot of like the clarity and a lot of the all the mental energy, and you get a little bit detached this week, that's totally fine as well, because sometimes it's needed. We're already working out through so many things that we need to do this sometimes, and Aquarius does this probably the best. They detach the best out of anybody. But just focus on that. Earth, I mean Virgo season. I would say also take some time to go outside, not just looking at this astrologically. Take some time to go outside, take some time to be in the sun, put yourself in a different situation. Enjoy the fruits of your labor. Enjoy the feeling, the fresher energy. See how you want to do, what you want to do about it. Create new habits, go plant an actual seed on the ground. Like, do something that gives you some purpose, if you know what I mean. Just start a new habit. It's really like important to like work with these energies, because it can't always be mental. It needs to be on a physical level as well. It needs to be addressed in both. The last card is Pluto. I'm sorry, I thought you weren't gonna get reminded that you've been doing a lot of transformation work. So Pluto. Really, I mean, we have been doing a lot of work. But do not forget that Venus is going into Scorpio. I'm telling you, oh my god, October is gonna be something. It's gonna be something. I mean, I'm setting the intention for great things, but it's definitely gonna be something. It's gonna be an experience. I think it's going to change a lot of things for people. I think it's gonna be a healing experience. However, I think it's gonna be very hard for some people to deal with, because Scorpio is no joke. You can either, like I always say, you can either have great sex in Scorpio season, or you can be like shedding skin and losing people left and right. This is really gonna be a time to find. People are gonna be finding out people cheated on them. People like the truth will be out, and that transformation that comes from the truth is Pluto energy. So preparing yourself to go into that, into October early, because we just started September, but preparing yourself to go into October with the intention of clarity, and the intention of will, and the intention of, you know what, I understand why I had to learn all these things that I understand, because this is also Saturn energy. Let's not forget that Aquarius is co-ruled by Saturn. I understand why I had to kind of get to that place and be able to grow. Don't dismiss this energy, but go into it clearly. Set the intention to sort yourself out, and just go with the energy. I would say definitely enjoy the end of the week. By the time I do the next video, it's going to be, the moon's going to be in Leo. And yeah, no, I love Leo moons. But it's gonna be a pretty good week, and we're gonna see some movement, and I feel like that's necessary, especially because we're coming out of so many retrogrades, that we need to see some forward movement, and we're gonna be seeing that this week. We're gonna see a lot of it. So continue doing the work, continue doing healing work, but just don't block yourself. That is the key. Don't block yourself. I will see you guys next week, or in the next video that I'm doing. Thank you guys for all my new followers. I was so excited that I passed 100, and I think I'm at 125 or something. I was so excited. But thank you for following my channel. Or subscribing. I'm really excited, and I can't wait to continue to do more content for you guys. All my links and stuff will be down below. Don't forget to subscribe,